To some, this is nothing more than cardboard and ink. But to those who know, these are precious metals, rare gems, a full set it took 15 years to complete. Low-pop rookies, hypnotizing hollows, one of only a handful in the universe, or an heirloom to look after for the next generation. No matter what you collect, raw or graded, to have and to hold, or to crush your opponents with, what matters is that it's real. Introducing eBay's Authenticity Guarantee for trading cards. Our third-party authenticators inspect every detail of your card and compare it to the listing to make sure it's the real deal or no deal, because we know just how much your collection means to you.
Finally, you can stay in control of your thumbsticks. Natural evolution gave the gecko its amazingly strong grip. Our multi-patented SetX technology duplicates the microstructured fibers on a gecko's foot for a revolutionary new way to get a grip on game controller thumbsticks. Like a gecko's foot, the thousands of microstructures on each SetX anti-slip thumbstick grip provide high friction to the skin surface for a secure, comfortable grip, even when sweaty, giving you a competitive advantage. Stay in control with the secure and comfortable grip of SetX thumbstick grips. Inspired by nature, perfected by science.
And welcome back yet again, homies, to another fun-filled day of Valor action right here on VCD Qualifiers. I, of course, am Ravishing Ravish, the most ravished man on the internet, joined here by my side by, once again, my comrade in arms, the beautiful Mr. Max K. Thompson. What's up, Max?
What's up, Ravish? I am very excited for today, the day of content creators, and we finally get to see them on the mainstream. These have been two very hyped up teams, Ravish, and you know, I gotta say, from all the different teams that we have in the upper quarters, in the upper brackets of the Open Qualifiers, it's gonna be one heck of a show today.
And indeed, you were right, my friend. We've seen both these teams grind their way, one might say, throughout the entire gauntlet. You know, considering the past 2 days for them, I find that they've been tough across the board. One team have breezed their maps all the way through, not dropping a single one. Meanwhile, while the other has taken a bit of time to ramp all the way up. But before we get into our teams today, we got somebody to thank, don't we?
Oh, we have so many people all the time to thank, Ravish, but there's one certain thing in particular that I can think that we especially need to thank, and of course, it's my room. No, I'm just kidding. It's eBay. We can't win the game without the gear, so get exactly what you need from eBay, all up to 50% off. Brand new gaming tech from brands like Microsoft, Sony, Razer, and more, plus free shipping and free returns. So be like the rest of us, get that amazing equipment, press play and shop eBay, and check out the deals at pks.gg/eBay. But Ravish, are you ready to get into the meat of it? We got a lot to talk about.
I'm ready.
Oh man, I'm ready. So, I mean, we're in the upper echelons, right? We've talked about this so many different times. This is the opportunity now to have at least not so much of a single elim anymore like it was in the top 256. At least now there's an opportunity to have that lower bracket run, but we're actually not going to be focusing too much on the lower bracket today. We're in the upper bracket right now, and we got Disguised Toast versus NSIC.
Indeed, my friend. Disguised Toast's team, or Disguised as they're going by, essentially, you know, have had a fun way to get to all the way up here. Now, considering with a lot of the best of threes, they've somehow consecutively and consistently dropped the first map every time, and then come back in indomitable fashion for the next two. Right, you've seen their maps go throughout, no matter what it may be. First one looks tough, and the second one is always some sort of comeback, very back and forth, very close. And by the time it gets to the third map, they're a different team. And I will talk a bit more because I did get the chance to catch up with Gangsta just after yesterday. So we'll go into that a bit more once you get to the map. But on the other end, NSIC, they are raring to go from the jump here, Max.
I mean, NSIC had a spectacular show yesterday. I think both of us were kind of pleasantly surprised about how the turnout between themselves and version 1 was. We were expecting to see, at the very least, a close battle, but NSIC, they completely dismantled version 1 from the get-go. I'm talking a super score, like a super big scoreline. 13-1, I think, for one of the maps. And if that coordination and that same upper levels of fundamentals can keep going for NSIC, we're probably going to go to that third map, because like you said, Ravish, Disguise, they go very slow on that first map. But the big question is, what are the maps going to be? Where are we going to go?
Well,
and how do we find out?
Well, you know what, my friend? I believe there's a wonderful thing that's just going up here right above our screen.
Yeah.
And now, with that, as you have said, we can find out more about this. Of course,
Absolutely.
Pearl and Icebox have been taken away, especially on both sides. Pearl, I'm not shocked by because Disguise actually does quite well on the map, and Haven, of course, is naturally there. The Haven for NSIC is a classic pick for them. We saw it yesterday. They looked disgustingly good on it. And Ascent is another one that is a disguised special. They as well had a solid comeback win out of yesterday, and they've looked very good. And the Final Breeze is something I haven't seen in a long time, so enjoy it while you can.
It's going to be interesting to see how Haven goes. I think this will be the most interesting map out of the 3 that we see, or well, I guess the potential 3 that we see, because so far, both these teams have a 100% win rate on the map. And as we get into it, we'll have to see and, kind of discuss Disguise a little bit more, because their case is more unique than most other teams that we've seen on Haven, but we'll wait to that until we get in the game. But that being said, though, remember yesterday, NSIC, we had the footage ourselves. We saw, again, the beginning of the end for version 1, where NSIC, again, their fundamentals look great. They were able to just dismount everything on the defensive side. So I'm wondering, though, what can this guys do on their own attack if they have to go up against Odorous' IGL?
That's going to be the toughest part. Now, talking to Gangsta a little bit, he did mention that looking at the games yesterday, he views his game to be very puggy. So naturally, we know and have talked about how NSIC, just a mechanical prowess, and in a perspective, they were just gun diffing everybody yesterday. So that's kind of how he's viewing it today as well. They themselves as a team are very confident in the fundamentals and their ability to know what's best for the game, right? Backed by Steel, the main IGL, each member is allowed the freedom to make their own calls and is trusting one another to follow that through. So that instance, I believe, should be shown today and should make a very fun time.
It's going to be interesting then. There's a lot of kind of cooks in the kitchen. Is that going to be a good thing or a bad thing? Because like you said, those first maps haven't gone well in Disguise's favor. But, if they can clean things up for that second map and third map, and plus they have a whole other day now of reflection to work with, this could be a big turnaround. We could see that 2-0 and an explosive start from Disguised. But again, it really comes down to that first map. If they can beat out Odorous' IGL and those wild early game calls, then yeah, maybe you could have those multiple co-IGLs. You can have multiple leaders in your game to really kind of bring things home and be wildly unpredictable.
Right, but naturally, of course, like Odorous, there is, of course, the main weights of Steel, that they have the veteran on their side, right? In years upon years of experience. So naturally, to be able to lead a team which hasn't worked together a ton, Gangsta and Ziff have played together before, and they have other roster parts that have come in to really help out, such as Clear and such. But aside from all that, I do think, considering this team has only played together for less than a month at this point, and really only in some officials being the Knights Weekly, this is the first time, getting a actual public, getting an actual public sort of showing for what they're able to be capable of. Then naturally, under Umbrella Disguise Toast, I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of eyes on you.
Absolutely, and you're completely right. So with that being said, that means there's a lot of extra time that NSIC has as a group to work with that chemistry. They've had a longer time working together so well. And, kind of rephrasing what you said, Disguise, if there's such a recent group, they've already had a strong showing. It's a matter of now they can go up to par against those things. And even though it's only been challengers for Disguise, at least we can look back a little bit farther for NSIC and see, what have they done? They've had recent roster changes. which is a big factor. It's almost like playing with a brand new team, but that core is still there. And if the core can do well, and I don't want to say the extras, but everyone else who's recently added can pull up their weight, again, I could easily see this maybe turning into a 3-map fiesta. But it comes down to that first map, Ravish.
Haven is going to be the biggest question mark for for us, but we might not have to question things anymore, as I believe we're about ready to get into Haven in just a couple of seconds. And there we are, as Daniel Cook says.
Just like magic, here we go. So far, nothing really too wild from NSIC's end. Pretty typical agent selection. In fact, every single team that we might be watching today, Rav, have not changed their agent composition between maps at all in open qualifiers. That's to mean that NSIC, if they've chosen their Omen, Jet, Breach, KJ, and Sova, more likely than not, they've been running it in the past, and they'll probably continue to run that in the future.
I mean, when you're this early on within a new roster, you want to try to at least just boil it down to what you know and what's comfortable for you, right? Because only been playing together for about a month or so, especially on the NSIC side as well, where they've also been trialing a couple new members as well. They know what's worked for them in the past, and I think I would expect a ton of just abrasive new moves, like, bringing out Viper on Haven, or even Yoru for fun. Even Neon, I think it could work, but I find it just takes a lot of time, synergy, and trusting your teammates, which does take a little bit of practice and being able to see the perspective of the game from one another's eyes.
Absolutely. And these are safe compositions from both sides. They've been running Haven with the same exact comps all throughout open qualifiers. It's a matter now to see, the small differences. Can Omen versus Omen have one better Omen? Can Steel's IGLing beat out the Sentinel of Odorous? Can the Sentinel difference of Physics and Gangsta be a huge differential? Physics is really unique because he's one of the few raw Sovas in open qualifiers. And outside of Fracture, that's the only agent he plays. Whereas other Sentinel players, such as Exalt and Gangsta, they like to kind of bounce around between the different initiator picks throughout the different maps.
And that's the interesting part, right? Because I remember I was watching Gangsta yesterday on Sova on Ascent as well too, but there's a lot of setup that he was talking about that goes into, making sure that players like Clear can effectively just waltz onto a site and do what they do best, which is be able to take out half the lobby. Now, we have seen pop-up plays like that from him before, but those kind of plays that actually happen on both ends as well, right? We've talked about how Apathy as well has gone 3Ks yesterday. Sean, in fact, was having a phenomenal game, and Big Bean too had a couple of clutch rounds on the other end for the side of DSG. Both Clear and Exalt as well doing their thing. But what I'm looking for today is how these teams play off of one another, and we'll see that right now as we look towards the first side exec.
Satchel out.
Look to walk in as Physic manages to get one. Clear is taken away in a 4v5 just in an early. Just trade, but that'll be it.
Yeah, early util dump not proving to work out well for Disguise team. The roundabout back towards A side. There is still an opposition at the top of Heaven. Have to watch out about Apathy. The Jet Wonderland. We saw the aggressive push-ups last time around against version 1. This time a little bit more reserved on the pistol round.
I'm unsurprised by this, but considering this is definitely just going to be a type of just feeling each other out for the first couple of rounds, right?
Yeah.
And that's the unfortunate part of this too, where Apathy was looking and maybe seeing if you could try to get out, but even on the entry as well, the smoke doesn't give him enough cover or enough side angle to maybe even get one wall on his way. And now the 4 members of NSIC all stacked up, 2 on Heaven, 2 on the outside.
Yep, great one way, stopping anyone from pushing through from defense side. What's left of the NSIC though, trying to make the way towards Heaven.
Tries to get the dart as they look to drop down. That's one more taken away. But immediately on the entry as well. Exalt was waiting for them to pop in. And Ziff as well has his back. Almost got the full ace. And Disguise get their first pistol.
And that's a strong start for Disguised. Remember, this first map in every series, Disguised always tend to struggle and start a little slow. And while the round itself seemed a little slow in the beginning, they were able to make it up despite losing the opening pick and bring back full site control on A site. NSIC, though, they gambled it a little bit. They gave full control, map control to all the sites for Disguised to push up. They were banking on that retake. Problem is now that NSIC, they're fully stacked up outside of A, and, well, there's not really too much of Disguised outside of A themselves. It's more posture towards C.
Yeah, it's interesting what they have going on right now, where one of them is essentially is looking down past window. This everybody does peek out almost aggressively, but this is interesting. This peek is going to be so dangerous. Spots the arm of Odorous. Was not able to get one, and now C site is theirs for the taking.
And there's that deep lurk from Haystack as well. The entirety of NSIC trying to go for a small little army, a gigantic flank. But that tripwire's been hit. Zip doesn't know how many there are.
But he hears a lot of footsteps though, as she patiently walks and waits for all of them to enter. Definitely heard the work all the way around, and that's 3 cleanly for Ziff. Oh, misses the transfer from the Ghost, but Physic with the Spectre in his hand and up against 4. He might be able to get 2 out of this at least, I think. I'm a liar.
Is that the caster's curse?
I really thought he might have been able to do it, if he cleanly walks in, but hey,
We're 2 rounds
was kind
in.
of waiting for him. My bad. But
it's okay.
You know what, Max? I do want to put a highlight on some stats you had for us to expand our brains.
Absolutely. So the thing about Disguise is that they've only played Haven once so far in Open Qualifiers, and you know what? They have. Take a wild guess, Ravish. How many attacking rounds do you think they won in that single game?
45.
They won a lot.
Okay.
You know what the percentage was?
95.
Ooh, close. 100% both attack and defense. A 13-0 against Drift. So far, Disguise, we don't know what the challenges are just yet, and so far they remain flawless. But this is a slow start. There were some opening pop shots outside of C, but everyone in Disguise, they reband themselves outside towards A. Now, the smokes are down, so it's not a clean push towards lobby. Apathy already waiting. ADS outside of A long, waiting to see what that next move will be.
They put down the smoke where the killer to util usually is, so that just gives us a natural cover, and now also using the Cypher Cage to insinuate the cross might be happening. But they slow play it. Waiting to see if somebody actually does walk into A long so they can likely punish them and hit the site for free. And currently, they decided to change up their plans. They're still faking, allowing the option for that someone might be B, but with clearly getting taken down, they might have to change things up. They're taking on a lot of aggression. And Exalt managed to get the trade, but Apathy's dead right behind him. A 3v3 is what we have.
And Ziff still on this late lurk. Looking to see if it's cleared out.
Nice.
On the other side, it's Physic the fall. Neural Theft is out. Cyber Cage to protect Ziff. Full information against NSIC. 2 left alive. A body and weapon advantage now for Disguise as the B plant goes down.
Big tag as well on Apathy, forcing him into a corner, and not only leaving Big being alive by himself. And a 1v3 once again, it's going to be really tough to play off the angles that they have, because look at the spread. They have the cross section, is what I like to call it, right? Both sides, no matter where you go, you're going to get swung upon, given the right timing, and Steel takes the left side.
And we've been seeing this a lot in open quals, where the beginning of these attacking rounds are really slow. It's all about poking, prodding, and discovery about where, the opening defense will be. Will they be pushed up outside of C or A? And we know from NSIC that Apathy always loves to play A long, and Disguised, they can take advantage of that. We saw that Cyber Cage faking the rotate over towards A site, but it didn't quite happen yet.
It's a lot of time to go. Right, but this is the card that you want to see if you are, especially when they convert the bonus on yours towards your favor, I should say. 3-0 start, leaving them on a save. If one more, oh no! BP thought he could posture out of first them, but that upward angle completely takes him off guard. If everything now, C-Set once again will be the take, and Disguised, what a start for themselves. They've managed to at least take the side free, so things are okay for now. And with NSIC, they have a couple of sheriffs on their side. They might be able to make a pretty precarious entry. You know, flashes are of course available, but look at the stuff they have on the site. You know, it's 2 up top, watch the same angle by spawn, while watching garage. But as soon as that smoke even drops, clear within a momentous second of getting flashed, takes down 3 and leaving Physic last one left alive. And Physic is just thinking, okay, all my homies are gone. What do I do here? The answer is take a loss bonus in the most efficient way possible. You ideally don't want to give away any more kills because that's 300 credits and that's your lunch money, but I think Steel might want to get one more piece of Dunkaroos. Not gonna get it, have to stick with full roll-ups this time. Give them a 4-0 start, and with this, NSIC is stuck in that ping pong economy, right? It's between buy and sell. Well, I should say buy and half buy pretty much every single time. At least a buy round this time. They have some options, and they also have the Blades as well here to 1 away from the Hunter's Fury. So definitely a decent amount of options. I'm definitely looking to see if Empathy manages to pop off, and the setup they have down C long would be the way to do it, especially with the setup, especially with what they could do past the paranoia if they wanted to set up more cover. Currently though, yeah, they're doing okay.
Hey, hello, I'm back. Sorry about that.
All good.
But guess what? These guys, they're up 4 rounds. They've been able to make so much impact early on, and so far their playbook wrap hasn't really changed. The only difference now is that Odorous on NSIC, well, he's stacked up outside of A. A little bit more protection there just in case, and it's a slow crawl on A side, but you know what? It just might pay off.
It's highly possible, especially with the setup they have, right? The op has that become a factor. He's rolling Thunder. Managed to get the hop on one. Shot still in the corner. They don't manage to see him. No, he doesn't get him. Oh, tragedy befalls him. And it'll leave them with a sight to themselves, 1 up top of heaven, but he's smoked out. Gangsta gets out with half of his health, almost taken away. It's a 4v5, and the NSIC is gonna have a tough time making their way in, unless Odorous walks in and takes 1 for free.
Now speaking of taking 1 for free, Steel's there on the other side to ensure that the roundabout back towards A is not gonna work. Apathy falls, Op now in the hands of Steel. And what's left? It's Big Bean on the other side of the whole country. Can't do a whole lot here, relegating yet again that 5th round. And Ravish at this point, 5 rounds down, not a single round in NSIC for the whole series today. It's a bit of a rough start for the team, and this is a far departure from what we had seen yesterday going up against version 1. And it makes me wonder, these retakes have not worked out for the team. Disguise, they've been able to take full execs every single round. The only time they were stopped on that B main push by Exalt falling. Otherwise, they've had a free sight almost every time, even with full utility set up against them.
This slow play style that we're seeing right now under Disguised is something that completely counters the expectations that I had, you know, when I was going into this map, right? I was expecting a lot of just gun duels on their side, and I was expecting them to just see, especially on NSIC side, if they were to get rounds, it was going to be pretty much based on them just shot diffing them. But this guy's clean gameplay is what I want to see. And Empathy, the aggression finally paid off C long. Steel punish on the upper angle, and they start off with an advantage.
And speaking of that advantage, good start here. Gangsta going for the Prowler. Not noticing Odorous though, hidden away. Second Prowler might identify at least the turret, but he's on the other side of the wall.
That's so much damage at least, and Odorous's turret gets 1 for himself. Clear, also forced to check outside to just ensure that he cannot get taken out, and there's only 1 corner that you know you can hide in, and it's only seconds that you have to do so. Zip. Now also punished. A big investment from NSIC to stop the bleeding, and I think they got the band-aid solution.
Oh, Exalt surrounded. Hit by the fault line. Sandwiched in.
There's no getting out of here. Oh!
No way.
I could be proven wrong. Don't swing on him. He still has a spike. Well, I should say, a spike is on the outside, but if he gets 2 here, this is entirely possible. There is 1 person behind that can set them up for the flank, but the position that the spike is in, it is so hard for him to do anything. 20 seconds, they go.
Like you said, that 20 seconds, slicing the pie, dividing every angle, shots rain through. Exalt has to back off, but he's gonna try to make the most of it. He divided up the 1v1s rap, but it wasn't enough. But at least then, it's not a flawless round for NSIC. They get their first round, but at what cost? Heavy eco damage against them, only remaining 2 different rifles. And there's enough to full buy into the next round, sure, but again, you're not living by much. Light shields for Big Bean, and Physics again, well, he's able to buy up a little bit more, but that utility, it's costly. 0 credits left for Physic.
Placing swamp grenade.
Oh boy. But going into this next round, the setup again, A may no longer work for Disguise. They're going to be poking and prodding yet again, maybe towards C and B. Let's see how it plays out. Smokes towards the back, makes it seem like it's a fast B hit.
Face your fear.
They use the Nightfall to cover towards the extremities of outside C long. Sorry, outside C and connector. And with the Nightfall as well, they managed to maintain all of C long control, so that entire square is completely under their vision. They forced them off, but still only 1 for 1, and Empathy coming a long way around here is big. But the thing has to be, is he gonna be able to get what? Oh! Slices the shot through the middle of 2, and now he's in such a precarious position, and he shall be punished for such.
Post play one-way setup though. 2 left alive for NSIC. They have full control of the site, but again, fighting through that smoke is easier said than done. Physic good for 1, but the trade is there as if good to hold the site yet again. 6-1 now. Disguise, sure, their flawless streak for Challengers on Haven may have ended, but they're still 5 rounds ahead, and they're already good for the half. This is a very different story from what we've seen in all day yesterday, where it was so slow for Disguise to get themselves going. But now they're fully warmed up. They're looking great going into the second half.
Disguise, as of this point, have got to be elated with how this is going.
Oh yeah,
This was a challenge definitely coming into them, and I know everyone expected it to be so. And even just small anecdotes that I had from Ocean right before this map, I wanted to see what his thoughts were going into the game, but his overall mentality was, hey, I'm prepping as much as I can right now, and this prep is clearly working out here, Max.
Oh, you have to prep. This is make or break for a lot of teams in North America. And yeah, there's some opportunities in the future, sure, but it's not many. And only so few teams can make it through. You have to put your all into these open quals.
One qual leads to the next, man. 1 kill leads to the next tier 2. The swing out, an attempt from Empathy, a desperate one at that. But nothing more happening here. Disguise, man, they just doing their thing at this point.
A great flawless round, just waiting for NSIC to push up. Every round they've gotten so antsy, looking for that opportunity to maybe go for a trade or, even the opening pick from A-Long, but every single time now, Disguised are waiting for it. They understand, okay, that's the mid-round playbook. We'll just wait and see them kind of come to us instead. We'll play it slow. We'll let them do all the work. And that's why we very rarely have seen these rounds for Disguised end in the spike exploding. It's been all gunfights. And here we go again, the push-up towards A. Disguise, they don't make a move. They're just sitting there waiting for that push-up. It's inevitable, especially now that Apathy has that up.
And look how far up as well.
True.
That we've seen Steel actually make it here. And usually this is the flank watch angle that you try to take as a Yeoman, meanwhile your team tries to be some util on either A or C, but the Rolling Thunder here set up, making space for Clear to walk his way in. The flash is well on the wall, but he does a counter fault line and they can't move in. Nothing found just yet. NSIC playing so far back, but not far back enough. The counter Rolling Thunder to keep them on site. The spec continues to tick. He's concussed and he is gone. Still, first one in and first one out of the site, as the rest of the team might also be falling. NSIC might have finally found a round, but Gangsta wants to ensure that you cannot make the way back in, and nobody's getting out of B.
A meltdown again. It's just gunfight city. Everywhere you go, gunfight, 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 gunfight. It's just nothing but gunfights everywhere. And it works so well. NSIC again, they're trying to play for those retakes. It's not working out. There's a lockdown, though, that Odorous may be able to use. Disguise, they play so slow towards the end game that the lockdown may have to be used very late into the round, maybe preserving his life, but we'll have to wait a few more rounds to see if it comes to fruition. Spectres and Bulldogs, the best weapons for NSIC. It's a default in response for Disguise. They're just waiting for that push-up yet again.
And this is pretty much what we've seen, right? So the 4-second Disguise usually meanders around B, and they leave Steel to go up either, some other site. Getting picks like that, though, is almost unexpected, but always welcome. Shot off the flash, just peeks into window, says, surprise, that's mine. Easy take, but it's a save, right? So you can't expect a ton out of this round out of NSIC. But getting 1 is nice, getting 2 is even better.
Yeah, at least it's not flawless, right?
Yeah.
Not a flawless round. But it's pretty dang close.
Yeah.
9-1. Almost every game we've covered in Open Quals have been these drastic score lines. But
I don't know why, man. Honestly,
I don't know. Is it us? It's got to be us.
It's a weird position to be in as a caster, right? Because you're thinking, okay, we're hoping for these back and forth games to just be able to build up round by round, but it's, although one-sided is Disguise, but NSIC, we've seen a couple sides of them, especially on a map like Haven, and this has seemed to be the playground previously. I do wonder if with this timeout they can hopefully take a 9-3, and then on the other half, we do manage to see some more, just a better showing, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's kind of hard to say, like, we need to see more, right? But the showing, I think you're right. I think this could be a good chance to have a turnaround, maybe that 9-3 scoreline. And you know what, the double ult possibly now possibly used in the next few rounds for NSIC, a really good attempt for a showcase.
And based upon that too, I didn't want to put a bit more highlight on Disguise Toast side. Gangsta had also mentioned that although Steel, of course, is the natural biggest voice, right? Every single other person on the team gets to have a say in what we do, especially as we go along towards the mid rounds calls. There's trust in one another that you're able to follow your intuition and work off of it. So there's no hard end all be all. Everybody here wants to ensure that they can all play the game and play it to their absolute damnedest. And each time those first game losses have been due to just nerves, and I'm going to comment off right now, they're firing on all cylinders. Seems like the nerves have finally worn off. But maybe Sean can put a stop to that. Gets spotted by.
Well, it's curious to see. There haven't really been that many changes in the setup for NSIC going to this next round. Aftershock kill coming out from Exalt, taking down his mirror mode match. But regardless then, Apathy's already pushed up. Steel looks so far behind in spawn. He's waiting for the rotates around going to A. He has full control of the map, and NSIC, they're none the wiser. Steel can do whatever he wants right now, and as the IGL, he can make the calls. The push towards B. Great for the collapse against those who rotate out of A.
They must know they're from the shadows here, right? They probably likely assumed it, and now Steel in an advantageous position where he's not looking to swing. He's just giving away info as to what he hears. And through here, he can just calm to the rest of the team like, yo, guess what's happening here? This is what they're doing. And this is just so ingenious. Oh, but he gets timinged within seconds, but luckily clears there to clean up the other two. And one person left against the lockdown and just Odorous. Disguised. We'll put the butter on the bread and let them know that you guys are.
This is so different from what we've seen yesterday. 6-10 for Physic, leading the kill feed right now over Odorous. 19-6 for Exalt. And again, that's pretty true to form for what this guys want to accomplish. They set Exalt up for those initiative pushes, offense zone flashes, and fault lines to find those entry kills. And not only does Exalt do that well on Haven, he excels at it. And with the crazy Into the Shadows that we had seen from Disguise, I can only imagine what else they have up their sleeves. Showstopper potentially in hand from Clear.
What a beautiful fault line. Almost managed to get 2 off the rip, but Big Bean barely managed to dodge that. And a big 2 picked up as well. Angry himself on the side. Big Bean looking to pop off. giving everybody gases, extensions. But Ziff, unfortunately, had a 1 in 3 chance of trying to find Physic. It was too much of an opposition and a much needed round going into the next half.
And those are the only 2 rounds that NSIC have been able to win. They've only won off of collapses from Disguise. They've been able to get the proper read, understand where that push would inevitably come in from, and when they're able to just take these 4v1s one at a time, those are the only chances that we've seen the defense really come out on top. Otherwise, Disguise, they've been able to outread Odorous and company. They've been able to maneuver and rotate themselves around for the halftime of each game, of each round. And we haven't really seen much of a response. Most of the gunfights have gone very much in Disguise's favor. But I wonder if there's going to be a tempo change now that Disguise is on the defense. They have Cypher rather than Killjoy, so there is unlimited range for the Cypher util. Otherwise, though, it could be roaming City. That's exactly what we're seeing right here, though. Gangsta and company, they're set up off that fault line, waiting for someone to push out from that dark cover, but the answer is no. NSIC, they have different plans. The Owl Drone to be the entry point. Steel discovered, the flashpoint's out, but again, no entry just yet. One-way setup, the Cyber Cage is out. Steel's ready for the upwards momentum for the jet to come around, but no. He's up above himself.
He's still chilling in the smoke. The fact he hasn't been spotted is big, but Zifkin taken down, and it might be even bigger because look at this. Now Big B has the opportunity to into garage. He's just jumping around. He's like Corbin Blue from Jump In, double dutch back and forth. And that's just gone. The concussed at least to ward them off. But I'm making it a 3v3. And NSIC get the spike down, but for how much longer? The flash is set up to allow them all to enter. Everybody full blind. And by the time they can see, they're back in spawn.
Yeah, and the 2 angers on Disguise, they go down. Immediately a triple retake comes by. The defuse is called 11-2 for Disguise now. This is a tough call. That was a really needed pistol round for NSIC to, get for their own. Now 2-11, they may be forced to either go for a complete thrifty here, or if they force by even a little bit and they lose this next round, they're looking at a broken bye into the end of map 1. Light shields and stingers, I think we know the way that NSIC want to bring themselves, but again, their economy's pretty much in the gutter.
But they have to force up here, right?
It's
they
hard.
almost
It's
have
a hard
no
call to
options.
make.
Yeah, exactly, because it's either they almost full save here then guns next round where they'll be giving up a full free round for match point, or they've got to make something happen with these full stingers and light shields. Maybe lacking Nico, but this is it. And that's actually got to make a stand right now, but Steel will not allow that to happen. They walk into sight, it's a 2 for 1. NSIC make it in with some troubles, but look at Odorous. This is huge. He's as he walks his way in, and Disguise fall to 2.
There's only 2 left alive, but keep an eye on the HP. Several members, so little to work with. A single headshot removes apathy.
Might not be enough though. It's still in 1v2. Seems a lot more possible. If the haunt does land, it gets any info on where the players are. This is entirely possible. No more haunts. So Gangsta has to full peek this. And look where the setup. That's one more there. He's checking every corner. He might have seen him behind the double. Right? But then concusses the land. He peeks out. He taps in. Gangsta, baby, flying so high. He's won DC mode.
The gunfights have just gone spectacularly in Disguise's favor, and we'll go back to that original point. Do you buy up when you're 2-11 and hope for the best and maybe start building up that economy again? Or do you force buy as much as you can into that final round? And I mean, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. Big Bean does have the no shield Vandal, but other than that, it's nothing but Bulldogs and Stingers. This is not a good look from NSIC, and this is the map that they dominated over version 1 so heavily yesterday. And now they're in the same exact boat. 2 defuses now from Disguised, 2 separate full retakes working well in their favor. And NSIC, they're gonna go full all out again on A.
Once again, no shot. The nade gets him. The concuss as well. Then even just contributing, and he could not get away. But it's still 2 for 2 by the end. So this is a trade you take that your NSIC naturally on the attack. But now look at where they're stuck here, Max. They're out by a lobby. They have no real control by sewers, so they have to somehow make their way in. They luckily have, the flashes and such, but Yeah, this is tough because Sean is almost dead.
Yeah. On the bright side, though, for NSIC, there's been a lot of eco damage against Disguised. Sure, it's not the best amount of eco in the world, but, you know, Vandals in hand, doing what you can. You're still stuck outside of A long, and Disguised, they're still holed up outside of A. And in case there's that big rotate around towards C, Steel is there, or at least for the audio cues if they start running.
Right, exactly. They even have a
45
tripwire on
seconds
B
left.
as well. So they pretty much have everything covered in case they do rotate out. But like you mentioned, there's a lot of time. So they can walk their way in. We're looking at 30-second exec. And there we go. Dart shot out. And the flash, though, will just barely connect. But it's not enough. Because Disguise brought the sunglasses with their shades on. They calm, cool, and collected. Leaving just Physic. Trying to clutch it out against 3. And no can DSG take game 1 against NSIC.
Something about us covering these teams have just been very drastically large score lines, and the name of the game has been pretty much the name of the game that we've been seeing for the last 2 days. Better gunfights, better control, better coverage of a map. And I really want to highlight Steel there with that dart into the shadows towards the back line of their attacking round. Full coverage, and you know what? NSIC were none the wiser in those plays. It's the reads on the defense for a lot of these teams we've been failing to see, and it's a big surprise from yesterday. NSIC, they had such a great defensive prowess, but today it was completely lacking. There was a distinct lack of rotates. It was just full aggression onto a site, regardless of what side they were on, and I'm really hoping we see things pick up from map 2.
Exactly. Better gunfights, cleaner shots, you know, better execs, better ingredients, better pizza, their clothes better, their shows better, they walk better, they walk straighter. It's all as simple as that. But we gotta see if they can come back in game number 2, because they're going to Ascent, an undefeated map for Disguised. You can find out after this quick break.